Welcome back to Grand Prix World. For those of you who were head desking last episode, I have remembered that Tyrrell are powered by Mechachrome this season. I think it's a customer deal actually. I said partner, but it might be that Mechachrome only offer customer. So that was a mistake on my part, I think. So apologies if it was. We still have a morale problem with both drivers, understandable considering neither of them managed to finish the race. Let's take a look at the news. Rubens Barrichello is very happy. He's won his first Grand Prix. We had a nightmare because both cars were out, which is true. Both Benettons broke the top six, not a surprise. Fastest lap was Rubens Barrichello. Craig Pollock is as popular as Herpes, and Luca de Montezemolo has managed to win the most popular manager, so that's how things shape up. Let's take a look at team emails. We lost $770,513. Bad news. I'm going to have to cut spending quite significantly. This is because we have so much less sponsorship. We have a new super worker. We have a wagon upgrade ready. Wagon upgrade? I'm so sorry. I'm so ill. We have a car upgrade. I'm mixing my German and my English, and it would be Wagen anyway. Ignore me. Okay, so Pedro Diniz only wants to work on setup testing and development testing, which he was doing, so I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Same for Shinji Nakano. Yeah, alright, go away, go away. We have a full construction team, which is good. SO are unhappy. Playlife are not willing to talk with us, not a surprise. We found out what Ferrari want, and we found out what the conditions of the Castrol deal are, so we've got some stuff to check into. Let's see if we can do any hirings or firings. Design team is full, construction team is full, and that team is full, that team is full. Okay, so that's good. Morale is still high in the design department. Let's see where we're at. Technology is not quite complete, but we have completed the active suspension. We'll try and get that approved by the FIA. Okay, that's approved. That's good news. It could have been that we lost that advantage there then, but sod it. Also, given that we've seen how important it has been to develop our car early, I'm going to immediately dump 50% of our guys while morale is so high onto dealing with next year's car. It's a bit risky because the regulations haven't been decided yet, so it could bite us in the arse and all the work could be for nothing, but the advantage is there for the taking. I'm going to run testing one more time. Depending on how bad... Oh, these cars are fucked. They're completely knackered. 36 and 27% damage. I don't even think we can cope with that. I might have to build a new chassis. Look at the state. Look at the state of that. How many spare parts can we make? Right, so it takes 29% of our staff to make one spare part package. And the driver aid takes 57%. That's going to have to wait. Means we can build 3 spare parts. Oh, that's so bad. And we can't test with the cars in this condition, which means we're going to put more wear doing the testing. Jesus. Right. Let's have a think about this now. Neither of the neither car 1 nor car 2 is capable of running with that damage or 100% wear. Which means we can't do testing because car 3 has to become a race car. That's clear. And car 2 is in better condition for repair. But we can't deploy the active suspension this round, that is for certain. I'm disappointed. I am disappointed because I wanted to make a start on upgrading the car while we've got the impetus to do so, but not much we can do really. Okay, I'm gonna give car 3 to Deniz and car 2 to Nakano, and then car 2 we will remove the damage and repair as best as possible. 61% wear. That car is not finishing the race. I think that's fair to say. That's a bad start. That's a bad start. How are we looking on selling bits of the team? Quite good. I'm going to sell 10% of the team. 1.4 million. I loathe to do it, I really do. And I'll save the other 30% for real emergencies, but I've got a feeling we're going to be hemorrhaging cash this season. Done. Done, done, done. I can see the value in building a 4th chassis as much as I hate it. Okay, so that means we bring Bridgestone back into the fold. Castrol are offering 2.4 million over 1 season, not great. We can get Works Ferrari power. That should be priority. It's only a 1 season deal though, and Bridgestone will take the remaining 20%. Oh, we can't invite them anywhere. Let's invite Danker. And what we'll do actually is take 5% off here, 5% off here, 5% off here, and we'll shove that 15% onto Danker just so we get progress going. I know we're dividing our attention again, but I really think it's worthwhile this time. I'm also going to knock down our hospitality spending to average. We've done repair work on the car, and the design front there's not really a great deal that we can do, and we can't start a 1999 chassis upgrade because we don't have the capacity to test because of the accidents we had. I'm tempted already to not qualify for Brazil to avoid putting any wear on the cars, but I imagine at least one car will be allowed in, and then that doesn't really provide much of a saving. Yeah, the technology repairs, the technology research we have to do. We can't be running around with so much potential reliability problems, but I won't be doing any work on performance. It just isn't worth it. It just is not worth it at this moment. We've paid to develop the active suspension, so we should put it on the cars, but when is optimal to do that is anybody's guess. And I'd like to be able to get an upgrade package out for the car, but I don't see it happening. That's something. Let's have a look at this season's engines actually before we press on with negotiations with Ferrari, and we'll see what everyone's produced. So again, the most powerful engine is Mercedes. Williams, Benetton, Stewart running them. Ferrari seems to be the best all-round engine. Look at how those points are distributed. Sauber, Minardi on Peugeot. We're on Mugen. Ford put together a pretty good engine this year. They really have. They've They've got pretty good power actually. Reliability is their weakness. And the Mechachrome package isn't actually bad. And Heart is Heart. No new entrants there. Any word on tyre suppliers? No new tyre suppliers. And for fuel, I'm going to say that we need to find a new partner. SO is just too middle of the road. Let's see the lay of the land. So Shell offer work steals and Mobile offer one work steal at least. Texaco only offer partner contracts. Total and Agip have only offered partner contracts. SO only offered us a customer deal, and they don't like us anyway, we know that now, so dealing with them next season doesn't make any sense. We need a new fuel and lubricant supplier. Let's see who's made good this season. The best for us probably would be Mobile, actually, because it's a balance between engine tolerance and power. Next season we have Ferrari power, hopefully, in which case what we really want is Texaco, because we don't need a fuel that's very engine tolerant. So feel free to vote below, because we won't be starting negotiations yet anyway, but here are the stats. You guys tell me what you think, and we'll open negotiations with your preferred partner. Same for tyres actually, let's take a look. Bridgestone and Goodyear are very closely matched. Very closely matched. I've always considered the tyres to be a bit bugged, to be honest with you, because tyres seem to retain R&D developments year on year. I don't know if this was intentional, like a simulation of the tyre wars, where, you know, as Bernie Ecclestone described it, they were putting out tyres you could put on in January and take off a year later. But yeah, I mean, Bridgestone still have the edge. Bridgestone is still the better tyre supplier. Although the intermediate and wet compound do suffer on grip a little. I mean, the hard compound tyres are better from Goodyear, but in terms of soft compound, Bridgestone is the rubber to run. We could have done with Michelin coming in actually and dividing the field a little bit, but hey ho. I will run round 2 in this episode, off screen, sim it, just to see how bad our financial situation is going to be. I'm not hiring any dudes. If I had a bit more money, this would be the time to start looking at upgrading the factory. It might be a little bit premature because we're not running the most expensive departments in this factory that we can. But yeah, there's questions to be asked there. Another thing that I'm going to ask in this episode is John Fellows. His contract expires in 1999, and all this time people could be signing him up. Here are his statistics for you to look at. Let me know if you want to re-sign him or if you want to take a look elsewhere. Speaking of which, let's look at the driver market quickly. Available next season are John Fellows. Eddie Irvine's also available. Jan Magnussen is also available. Incidentally, Olivier Panis is retiring at the end of this season. So that means there's a seat open at Minardi. There's a seat open at Benetton. And there's a seat open at Sauber because Giancarlo Fisichella is also available. And there's a seat open at Williams. Damon Hill actually is only on a 1-year deal there. Laurent Vidon and the Tyrrell test seat is also available. No famous drivers are unsigned at the moment. Yeah, no one else we can pry away at the moment. So we could always fire one of our drivers to bring one of these guys in as well. You know, we could always bin off Nakano or Deniz. But again, Deniz is Deniz and Nakano really are what are underwriting the majority of the team's budget at the moment. Um, in fact, the only other thing aside from Deniz that brings more money into the team than Nakano is our deal with Danka at 4.8 mil. Okay, I think we've done all we can here. I think we've done all we can. I'm going to turn both drivers back down to 3-3 because we're putting too much wear on the car. So I'd expect to see performance suffer again, but this is about survival of the team at the moment. It's not about putting in the best performance possible. You're not getting anything there. We agreed to put both cars on the softer compound, I think. I'll try one more race with Deniz on the hard, just because I think there's a time advantage there in not stopping. We've not learned anything from there. So we're going to run round 2. It's cloudy, but not rainy, which is good news for us. Let's see where we qualify. 10th and 12th. So we have gone backwards and turning down driver performance. Light rain, strong wind, 28 degrees for the race. I'm going to put Deniz on a one-stopper in the rain. There's no reason not to. It's all knackered anyway. And Shinji Nakano can stay on a two-stopper because his car's more worn anyway. I've got a feeling we're going to run into the exact same problem after this round where we don't have enough spare parts to get all the cars exactly where we want them. Having that car 3 with such high damage is really, really bad. Depending on how well our money lasts up, a 4th chassis would probably be a good investment, maybe even a 5th to clear out that really damaged one. But that's $1 million. Let's blast it. God damn it. We have an unknown issue on Pedro Deniz's car. Shinji Nakano had a component failure, so again, that's something we are running a design project to fix. But in the Constructors' Championship, Ferrari lead from McLaren and Williams on joint second, Sauber and Benetton 4th and 5th, so not a million miles away from how we called it. We made a big profit that race, which makes absolutely no sense. And we've got a TV advantage, which we're immediately going to deploy on the Ferrari deal. We only get a partner deal again from a 1-year partner deal from Bridgestone, so our relationship is going literally nowhere. We're in a bad place, guys, I'll be honest with you. Let's take a look at the news. Michael Schumacher won that race for Williams. Williams also got pole. Both drivers failed to finish the race. Both Saubers made the top. Top 6. I'm just reading the news below. Our relationship with the FIA has taken a hit for some reason. Damon Hill got the fastest lap. Jan Magnussen has signed with Minardi. If I remember correctly, he's the Tyrrell test driver, so he's now moving into the Minardi seat made vacant by Olivier Panis. Nigel Stepney and Rory Byrne have both signed for McLaren. That's big signings for both of those. Ferrari have already signed a sponsor in Hugo Boss. No testing, and we are the worst manager. Not a surprise. Not a surprise. Okay, our technology project to improve our hydraulics is complete. Let's see the state of the cars if we dare look. Good God, look at that. Just look at that. I really want to get that active suspension built. I really do. I also want to be testing. I want to be testing now we've got the money. How much is it to build a new car? 66, which leaves us 44. Can we improve that? Nope. What about the technology? Okay, so we build a new car and deploy our reliability upgrade. And we still can't build 4 spare parts. Okay, first things first, let's start another project to improve reliability. I'm going to put 40% of our guys on that and move 60 over to developing the new chassis, and in the hopes that that pays off. It might look like a false investment, but really it isn't, because these guys would be doing nothing otherwise. Do you know what I mean? The staff would be sat redundant. Like, we could set them to design another driver aid while this happens, but the advantage of that is very limited when we could gain a real advantage from having a much more aerodynamically sound car next year by getting a jump start on our competitors. We've received no upgrades from our partners. Not exactly a surprise. We can upgrade for 6 million. Not going to happen. And we have development points to push out. How do we best do this? How do we best do this? We can build a new car for 66. Leaves us 74, and then we can build 1 spare part. Now bear with me. Is 1 spare part enough to get 1 car into passable condition? I think it probably is. We're going to save scum. We are going to save scum. I'm sorry, I hate myself for it. I do, but I've never actually found myself in this position before, so let's save the game. We are going to build a car against my better judgment, and we're going to build a spare part. And we're going to run testing with 1 driver, and it'll be Johnny Boy. And we're going to try and get the data we need to push the car. And we can always deploy that later than we need to. But for now, what we're going to do is put 60, 40, and we're going to put all the guys we can spare for as many miles as we can manage. Hit it. Yes. Yes, perfect. Okay, so the design is for a new floor. So now we'll split 30% and another 10% of this. Actually, we should have 40, 30, 30. We'll stick 30% on the new floor. And then we will build a spare part and a new car. The new car, car 4, will go to Shinji Nakano because Deniz I'm unhappy with. I am unhappy. Car 3 goes to Deniz, and he's going to be running damage, and I don't give a balls because we need to get the wear down. I get the feeling I'm not making my best judgments here. So this will be the last episode of this I do today, in case I'm really damaging the playthrough. I can't seem to concentrate, and I've spent about 1.5 million that turn, even though I made 1.7 million before I sold part of the team. So it could be an optimal strategy. It could be suboptimal. Let's press on. At least they'll be happy that they've got some setup points to spend. We seem to have reliability problems, so I'm going to turn the guys down even further. I hate myself for having to do this. But the car clearly wears incredibly badly, even though it's well designed. So, Argentina, they've got 5 points each, so I'm going to go acceleration, top speed, brakes, heat. Oh, brakes, rain, and heat. For Deniz and Shinji Nakano, I'm going to I'll give him dust for absolutely no reason. See what I mean? I don't have my smart head on. We've got no driver race to deploy. I'm going to run both cars on the soft compound. Don't see why I wouldn't. Actually, no, we'll split strategy one more time. I'm such a coward. I'm such a coward. But if I feel there's an advantage to be gained, then I'll risk it. I'll be honest with you, I'm getting a little bit frustrated because we've seen a flash of brilliance in this car, and Deniz puts it on 7th, which is better than I hoped for. Maybe he should have got the new car after all. Newhouse on pole for McLaren on a 125.822. We are 4/10 off that with Deniz, so the top 7 are split by 4/10, maybe a bit more. Eddie Irvine puts it on 2nd for Benetton. They've taken the step forward that we predicted. Rubens Barrichello 3rd for Ferrari. Schumacher 4th for Williams. We outqualified Williams. That's pretty good. I don't know what happened with Nakano. Bad day at the office. But Minardi's and Stewart's are down at the back. And the Tyrrells are mixing it up with the Saubers and Jordans and us. Prost seemed to sit fairly on their own, as we saw in qualifying for Australia. They're 1.1 seconds off the back of the Tyrrells, and they're exactly 1 second ahead of the Minardis, so they really are out there on their own. That could be purely down to the power they're using, it's hard to say. Okay, race strategy. Deniz, you will 1 stop. So 36. And you will run fresh tyres on each stint for a 2-stopper. Look, be a lady tonight. 4th and 6th, double points finished. That is exactly what we needed. We really needed that. Okay, so maybe that was a little bit fairer to the relative performance of the cars. I think we found the sweet spot in terms of driver push anyway, depending on how the wear looks. I'm going to be a bit out of the usual with this episode, and rather than killing it now, we'll take a look in a bit more detail at the situation. But it's a 1-2 for Ferrari, running. They've switched to. Oh no, they were always on Goodyear. Benetton were always on Bridgestone. Who's actually switched? Who knows? But most teams run Goodyear. Heinz Frentzen takes it from Barrichello. Eddie Irvine completes the podium for Benetton. So Benetton really are up there at the moment. I think they're being hampered by one of their drivers more than anything. A Sauber of Giancarlo Fisichella splits us. Johnny Herbert takes 7th for Sauber. Wurtz and Alesi in the Jordans 8th and 9th, and Takagi completes the top 10 for Tyrrell, who failed to finish. Last went to Mikasalo in the Minardi, 3 laps down. Damon Hill, Williams, suspension failure. Esteban Tuero in the Benetton had an accident. Johnny Newhouse had an electronic failure in the McLaren. Juan Pablo Montoya had a hydraulic failure in the Tyrrell. Coulthard had a suspension problem as well, and Michael Schumacher had an accident in the Williams Ford. So, yeah, I think we were helped out by attrition, but as with last time that happened, we had to be there to get it. Deniz takes 7th in the Drivers' Championship, currently being led by 4 points by Rubens Barrichello ahead of Heinz-Harald Frentzen, with Schumacher and Coulthard drawing for 3rd position on 10 points. In the Constructors, we are 6th, 5 points behind Benetton and Sauber, who are currently sharing 3rd or 4th place, depending on how you read it. Ferrari are leading on 36 points fairly convincingly, and McLaren and Williams are sharing 2nd place, 10 points apiece. Let's hope we've made money. We have made money. Not a huge amount, but we have made money. That's good news. Let's read the news. Pedro Diniz almost got a podium place, and he did. If you look at the timing screen, we weren't that far off. Heinz-Harald Frentzen won from Johnny Newhouse, who took pole position. Shinji Nakano picked up a point, always good. Arrows are very happy that both cars are in the top 6. We are, very much so. Benetton have signed Damon Hill to replace Eddie Irvine. They're really going for it. They're really pushing. That means there's an open seat at Williams still, because Magnussen is going to Minardi. So that means either John Fellows or one of the non-F1 guys will be moving to replace Magnussen. I think that makes sense. Williams don't have a seat anymore. They've signed Eddie Irvine, so that's a switcheroo. Jordan with Alex Vogt had a refueling problem that delayed their pit stop. Ferrari and Williams have signed more sponsors. Okay, so some rules have come out regarding next year's cars, and we are not allowed to use these year's, that's not even a word, I'm so ill, this year's car again. I didn't even realise that was an option in the game. I don't think it is. But the regulations have been confirmed, so we'll know if our head start meant anything at all. Giancarlo Minardi is the worst manager of the month, while Peter Sauber takes manager of the month. Good news all round. Have we had anyone quit? Not so far. Morale seems to be holding up okay. About driver morale, nothing. That morale problem is going to bite us in the arse. Okay, we're still suffering from quite high rates of wear, but nothing really out of control, to the point that we could actually probably deploy an upgrade. Let's have a look at the design office. Okay, so our car does conform with the regulations. That's fantastic news. At this rate, we will get the new floor complete by round 11 or 12 for the maximum benefit. I think we should probably shift some staff over to that. And on technology, 30% was enough to complete that project in one round. So we can't build that yet until we've built the other one. Okay. Well, we're not testing this round. That much is for certain. Let's throw on our technology upgrade so that we can build the new one. And you'll see we now have a point inhabiting this box. We're going to throw an extra 10% of our staff at the new floor to get that done a little bit quicker. And hopefully we can build 2 spare parts, or we could build the driver aid, or we could build a spare part and the other reliability improvement. I'm going to leave that, actually. I'm going to leave that. We've got 69% of our team available. One set of spare parts costs 23, which means we could build 3 spare parts, actually. The active suspension will take 46%, and the technology upgrade will take 31%. So get your pen and paper out, make a note of that. Here are the relative costs, so $28,000 to improve our reliability, $32,500 to give the drivers active suspension, and spare part packages cost 50 grand a piece. I'm going to let you guys make that decision. We won't be testing, so you don't have to account for that. I'll make it easy for you. It bothers me that we're not testing, but there we go. Actually, what I'm going to do though is use these development points that we built up before I forget about them. So that actually boosts everything that's currently running, which is great news. We're on course to have a good car next year, or the best car Mike Gascoigne can provide. Moving on to sponsors. No progress on either of those deals. No progress on the tyre deal. Bit of progress on the Ferrari deal. I don't think they necessarily like us. They don't. We just spent some hospitality time on them. We still can't bring Bridgestone along anyway. I'm not sure if maybe that means it's time to go after a fuel supplier. We're not going to run the next race now, so you have time to make a decision. Do we now, because we can't bring Bridgestone along for hospitality, do we leave guys on this deal and try and work very slowly towards a partnership, or do we wait for one of the teams that's taking their reps up to sign a deal and then pick up the dregs, or do we even take a look at switching across to Goodyear? In the meantime, should I take this 15% or any combination of percentages thereof, out of all the team, to work on a fuel deal? And do you believe we're going to get the Ferrari deal? Should we go after Texaco in the hopes of the maximum performance game? I look forward to your thoughts. Is there anything else to check before we progress? The value of the team is still holding. You never know if it's a good time to sell or not, because if you need the money later, it's often good to get it early. We don't have to hire anybody else. The driver market is settling down now. There's not really any race seats left available, so there's no discussion to be had there. So yeah, the last thing to consider then is the sponsor deals. Thank you very, 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 very much for joining me again and for distracting me from being so ill. Hopefully next time we speak I won't be quite so disgusting. I'm going to go and steam myself now. Please leave your comments below. I think there's a poll function. I'm so useless I've forgotten. If there is, I'll set up a poll for you, and when I come to record again, probably tomorrow, although it might get to Monday or Tuesday evening depending on what happens, I will take the considerations of the poll into account, and we will drive our way around San Marino. Thanks very much. Take care and have a good weekend. Bye bye.